Black Lives Matter is our call to action. It is a tool to reimagine a world where Black people are free to exist, free to live. It is a tool for our allies to show up differently for us. I grew up in a neighborhood that was heavily policed. I witnessed my brothers and my siblings continuously stopped and frisked by law enforcement. I remember my home being raided. And one of the questions as a child I had was why? Why us? Black Lives Matter offers answers to the why. It offers a new vision for young Black girls around the world that we deserve to be fought for, that we deserve to call on local governments to show up for us.
And anti-Black racism is not only happening in the United States, it's actually happening all across the globe. And what we need now, more than ever, is a human rights movement that challenges systemic racism in every single context. We need this because the global reality is that Black people are subject to all sorts of disparities in most of our most challenging issues of our day.
So I think race and racism is probably the most studied social, economic, and political phenomenon in this country, but it's also the least understood. The reality is that race in the United States operates on a spectrum from Black to white. Doesn't mean that people who are in between don't experience racism, but it means that the closer you are to white on that spectrum, the better off you are, and the closer to Black that you are on that spectrum, the worse off you are. When we think about how we address problems in this country, we often start from a place of trickle-down justice. So using white folks as the control, we say, well, if we make things better for white folks, then everybody else is going to get free. But actually, it doesn't work that way. We have to address problems at the root. And when you deal with what's happening in Black communities, it creates an effervescence, right? So a bubble up rather than a trickle down. Let me give an example. When we talk about the wage gap, we often say women make 78 cents to every dollar that a man makes. Y'all have heard that before. But those are the statistics for white women and white men. The reality is that Black women make something like 64 cents to every 78 cents that white women make. When we talk about Latinas, it goes down to about 58 cents. If we were to talk about Indigenous women, if we were to talk about trans women, it would even go farther down. So again, if you deal with those who are the most impacted, everybody has an opportunity to benefit from that, rather than dealing with the folks who are not as impacted, right, and expecting it to trickle down.
Wow. I literally just got lost in the passion that is so thick in each and every one of their voices. You just heard from 3 powerful women who founded one of the largest movements in the history of the United States, and that is Patrisse Cullors, Alicia Garza, and Opal Tometi. To all of our viewers, hello, and welcome to Live at 5. Just last week, you heard from the Citadel Man, who shared intimate details from their time in Wisconsin, Kenosha. Much like the women who just came across the screen, we are here to shed light on powerful women on the front lines of this political movement. Jasmine, how did you feel while you were watching just those women speak?
You know, when I was 17, when Trayvon was murdered, I really didn't understand the Black body. And I'm just so grateful for these women paving the way for us to be awoke up for Black lives, for us to stand up and actually have a call to action. Because now that they have paved the way for all of us, I'm able to contribute to that. So I'm grateful that they founded this.
Wow, that is so powerful. Tanisha Thomas, what about you? What does the Black Lives Matter movement mean to you?
You know, more to me, Black Lives Matter means that Black people will finally get the justice that they deserve in America.
That's good.
You know, it means that we're going to go from social justice and walking out in the streets to politics. And you know, there's these 4 really powerful trailblazing women. They're called the Squad. And they always are getting attacked by Donald Trump. Have y'all seen the recent video? Check this out.
I am not surprised when the president says that 4 sitting members of Congress should, quote, go back to their own country when he has authorized raids without warrants on thousands of families across this country. I am not surprised that he uses the rhetoric that he does when he violates international human rights and takes thousands of children away from their families. I am not surprised that he has turned our public education system under the leadership of Betsy DeVos into a cash cow to enrich himself and his friends. I am not surprised when he corrupts via the Secretary of Transportation. I am not surprised at what he's doing. But I also know that we're focused on making it better.
We are grateful for your solidarity, your encouragement, and your support in the face of the most recent xenophobic, bigoted remarks from the occupant of our White House. I will always refer to him as the occupant, as he is only occupying space. He does not embody the grace, the empathy, the compassion, the integrity that office requires and that the American people deserve. I encourage the American people and all of us in this room and beyond to not take the bait. This is a disruptive distraction from the issues of care, concern, and consequence to the American people.
This is a president who has openly violated the very value our country aspires to uphold. Equality under the law, religious liberty, equal protection, and protection from persecution. And to distract from that, he's launching a blatantly racist attack on 4 duly elected members of the United States of House of Representatives, all of whom are women of color.
Sadly, this is not the first, nor will it be the last time we hear disgusting, bigoted language from the president. We know this is who he is, and we know that he and his administration are constantly engaged in actions that harm residents and American people in our country. Many members of Congress have called for his impeachment because of his utter disregard and disrespect of the United States Constitution. And despite this and other many attempts to distract us, we remain focused on holding him accountable to the laws of this land and accountable to the American people.
Now, y'all know I'm down for a sisterhood, for a squad. Queens say queens. Queens. Did y'all see that diversity and these women that are just out here moving and shaking, making stuff happen? Yes. And you know what I love the most? Like, they are women just like me and you. Mm-hmm. Like, they are just like us. As a matter of fact, our girl AOC, she was the first one that spoke. Mm-hmm. She's out of the Latinx community, and she's representing in the Bronx. That's our congresswoman out there. And, I mean, just to know that she's an educator, and when her family fell on hard times, she also had to pick up a second job as a waitress. So her whole campaign, it was all grassroots. Mm-hmm. So just to know that, and to know that she's a girl just like me, right. That really gives me a lot of hope, and I love the diversity.
Yes.
You know, I can actually appreciate the diversity as well. And I just think when I watched the video, I had to do a little research. First, I learned that you shouldn't speak about something before you're actually knowledgeable about it or, you know, before you have an opinion.
Right.
So I had to do my own research. And I found that if you don't know, she is the U.S. representative for the Michigan's 13th congressional district. In other words, you know, she's a boss chick. She is one of the first women of Palestinian descent to serve as U.S. Congress, and she's one of the first Muslim woman in the Michigan legislature. So, yes. And in the video, something that really stuck with me was she spoke to Trump and all of the disrespectful comments that he makes and how this is not the first time, nor will it be the last, and how we as African Americans, but especially Black women, have to remain focused in this mission to just hold him accountable for the things that he's doing. Like, it's not okay, and we should use our voices to make that well known.
Yeah.
You know who really inspires me though?
Who?
Ilhan Omar. You know, she's the first Somalian American congresswoman, and she's from Minnesota.
Wow.
Like, she really knows what the American dream truly should be.
With George Floyd, right?
Yep, where George Floyd was from. And you know, I really appreciate her fighting for justice, and we need a lot more women to follow in her path.
Definitely. True. Yes. So I am inspired by this beautiful Black queen, Miss Ayanna Presley. My good sis grew up on the south side of Chicago, kind of had a hard life, you know, single mom. Dad was in and out of jail, and she just decided to take her struggle and turn it into some power. You know, she is the first Black woman to be elected as Congresswoman in Massachusetts, excuse me. Get a little tongue-tied over here. So my sister's doing it up, and she believes that the people who are closest to pain should be the ones closest to power. And that hit. I don't know about y'all, but that hit for me. So that makes her the fourth member of the squad. So, you know, we all love a squad. Squad, say squad. Squad. Okay. But let me tell y'all what squad goals are not, okay?
What's the two?
So, y'all know I am a Twitter stan, right? I love me some Twitter, right? So, I'm, you know, casually scrolling, and I catch some tea on Miss Cardi B and Candace Owens. So if you don't know, Candace Owens is kind of like a political commentator, kind of like a Tommy Lauren, but Black type thing, right? So, Tommy. Candace does an interview with Ben Shapiro, and she had Cardi's name in her mouth. So that's what started the beef. Have y'all seen the video?
Don't come for Cardi.
All right, let's check it out.
And so, and I completely agree with your assessment about Cardi B. It is one of the biggest insults. If Black Americans are not insulted by the fact that Joe Biden, who has been hiding in his basement, for the entire year, made an appearance and came out because he was going to do an interview with Cardi B. Do we have nothing better to offer? I mean, this would be akin to Donald Trump saying, I'm going to give no interviews, but he came up and he decided to give an interview to Justin Bieber. Right? I mean, Justin Bieber, I'm sorry, I know you're a Christian man. I don't even want to put you in the same boat as Cardi B. But it would be absurd, right? White America would go, what is this? Why are you being interviewed by Justin Bieber? And it's because you're pandering, right? You're pandering. You look at Cardi B's Instagram, you see she has millions of followers, and you think, okay, this is an illiterate person, and if I appeal to this illiterate person and she does, like she literally did in the middle of this interview, and they think she's cool, she's hip just by sitting here and taking this interview, Black people will vote for me. It's basically saying, Black people, you are stupid, you are dumb, and you're so foolish. I mean, do you think, what if she just said in the middle of the interview, Joe Biden, can you name one Cardi B album? Joe Biden, do me a favor, just one Cardi B lyric. He couldn't do it. Of course he's not, because he's being handled and they're saying Black people like this person. This is what they're into. And so here you go, talk to her. Same thing with Hillary Clinton when she went on the Breakfast Club and she said she had hot sauce in her bag, right? She didn't know what Beyonce's song that came from. One of her handlers said, say this, right? Probably got the questions ahead of time. Say this. Say you keep hot sauce in your bag. Right now, Beyonce's song is trending and it's hot sauce in my bag swag. And she looked like a fish out of water and said it. It is demeaning. It is pandering. It is ridiculous, okay? And she asked pointedly ridiculous questions. I want lower taxes, but I want universal health care for all. She had no idea what she was doing, and yet both Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden made the time to sit with her because they believe Black people are stupid. And Black people that...
Okay, so seeing that, what do y'all think? Because
She was coming for the girl.
right, came for her neck, right?
She snatched all her edges.
Period. So, I came with some receipts. So let's see what was actually said on Twitter.
What's the tea? What
So
happened?
Cardi says, yes, you are right. I have the #1 song and I have a huge platform and I can make millions go vote to get the man that used you. I think she meant to plug in out of the office. I don't want to argue with you, Candace. I really don't have the time. I honestly just feel sorry for you. So Candace claps back and says, you are encouraging millions to go vote for the man that locked up entire generations of black men. Maybe go Google Joe Biden and 1994 crime bill. Joe Biden used you. Bernie Sanders used you. Neither one of them like or know your music. They think you're dumb. Hashtag Trump 2020.
Not the hashtag, though.
Not the hashtag.
Not the hashtag.
She was ready.
2020,
So then Cardi says, and you are encouraging millions to vote for a man who laughs every time a black man gets killed by a cop and tells millions of Americans to drink bleach. Trump didn't even have you talking at the Republican convention. He thinks you're dumb. Massa did you dirty, but you're mad at me? Ooh!
Sis clapped back.
She said Massa.
Sis clapped back.
Now, I don't know if I would have said anything back after that, but she did come with something else. But then Cardi then proceeds to post a picture of Donald Trump, and he has all of these black, I feel like there were pastors, spiritual leaders that were surrounding him, praying for him, and he's just kind of staring blankly into the camera. And so Cardi saying, this is what pandering looks like. I will never praise no politician, not even Obama, FDR, or Bernie, only the Lord. Okay, period. This is how Trump panders with the black people, while Candace concerns how Joe panders with me. Sis, what's the tea? What is the tea?
I really don't know. That's a lot to take in. It really is a lot to take in. It really is.
I'm trying to figure out what pandering even means, though. Like, I know I'm not the only person that heard that word and was trying to figure out, okay, well, what exactly does this mean? So I'm going to need somebody to enlighten us because, this political jargon.
Give me a minute. I'm going to look it up.
Go ahead, look it up, girl. Look it up for us.
And I'm going to give, like, my own version of pandering. I feel like it's like when you're trying to appeal to a certain crowd and beg for their vote. So I would say that Trump is out here pandering with hate, you know, and that's his tool, and that's how he's gotten a lot of the votes that he has right now.
Exactly.
According to Google, to gratify or indulge an immoral or distasteful desire, need or habit, or a person with such a desire. A pimp.
Oh! Is that what it says?
So sis came out here with the jargon.
Whoa. Okay. Anybody else have thoughts?
Well, I like to speak to, though I don't agree with how Candace handled the situation, on Cardi B's behalf, I really do believe, like, if they were going to put her in a position where she's talking politics, they should have made sure that she was ready. Because, we don't want to come out and just say any and everything. We're ignorant to the fact, to what is really going on. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, to be honest, she stands for the black community. Mm-hmm. So because she was a representative for the black community, now we look ignorant. Mm-hmm. So I just think it's very important that we are very educated about politics, about any type of laws that's going forth.
Yeah. You're right, sis.
Y'all, Candace Owens ain't the only one who's stuck in a sunken place and serving massa.
Did you say sunken place?
Yes.
You have to enlighten us.
Sunken place.
Enlighten us, sis.
You never saw Get Out?
Come on. Make it plain for the people. Come on.
The sunken place is when black people get disconnected from their own culture. And they try to connect with white culture because they feel like it's better and they're going to have a better life. And so they just go into this place because they've been convinced and they think that this is what life should be for them. This is what, and they deny us and they deny their culture.
Right.
There's this woman, her name Kim Classic. Y'all should check out this video. She's from Baltimore.
Oh,
Wow. Oh, gosh.
Do you care about Black lives? The people that run Baltimore don't. I can prove it. Walk with me. They don't want you to see this. I'm Kim Klasick. This is Baltimore, the real Baltimore. This is the reality for Black people every single day. Crumbling infrastructure, abandoned homes, poverty, and crime. Baltimore has been run by the Democrat Party for 53 years. What is the result of their decades of leadership? Baltimore is one of the top 5 most dangerous cities in America. The murder rate in Baltimore is 10 times the U.S. average. The Baltimore poverty rate is over 20%. Homicide, drug, and alcohol deaths are skyrocketing in our city. Do you believe Black Lives Matter? I do. The vast majority of crime in Baltimore is perpetrated against Black people, who make up 60% of the population. So why don't we care about our communities? The Democrat Party have betrayed the Black people of Baltimore. If the politicians walked the streets like I do, they would see exactly how their policies and corruption affects us. If they don't want to see it, they don't want you to see this. Go to any Baltimore neighborhood and ask this question. Do you want to defund the police?
No.
No.
Absolutely not. I had 3 sons killed in Baltimore City. And I think if we defund the police office, it's going to be worse than that. So no, I'm opposed to that.
What are you going to defund the police for? Why? How do you defend your city, your community? Families are losing people.
It's not just Baltimore. The worst place for a Black person to live in America is a Democrat-controlled city. It's 2020. Name a blue city where Black people's lives have gotten better. Try. I'll wait. Look at this. How are children supposed to live here and play here? Democrats think Black people are stupid. They think they can control us forever. That we won't demand better and that we'll keep voting for them forever, despite what they've done to our families and our communities. Are they right? I'm Kim Klasick, and I'm running for Congress because I actually care about Black lives. All Black lives matter. Our communities matter. Baltimore matters. And Black people don't have to vote Democrat.
Wow. So first, I would like to acknowledge how fast she walked through that hood.
Okay, so she's not from around here.
Let's get this video and let's go.
Exactly.
And then second, I would like to acknowledge the fact that when I first seen this video circulating around social media, I'm sorry, excuse my grammar, but making its round around social media, for a second I was just like, okay, well, sis is making some good points. Because our neighborhoods are suffering. Right. So I don't know, T. Thomas, can you help me bring light to what's really going on here and why our cities are suffering even though we have Democrats in leadership?
Well, I would like to point out the first fact that she said was that Democrats have been in power for 53 years. If you go back 53 years, that's the 1960s, which means we were in the middle of the height of systemic racism in the United States of America. You can't just put it on one party. Right. Yeah. Both parties are to blame. The whole entire structure of the United States and its government is against and anti-Black people. So therefore, nothing that you saw in that video, you could automatically say, oh, it's the Democrats.
Right. Mm-hmm. You know, it's so important that we pay attention to the candidates that are on the ballot and that we vote all the way down the ballot. Yeah. Because you can be sadly mistaken just looking at somebody and just because they have a great campaign video. You have to look at their history. Yes. You have to know who these candidates really are. And just because somebody is, African American or just because they look like you does not necessarily mean that they have your interests or your life experience in tow.
Because all skin folk.
All skin folk and kinfolk. That's what my grandma used to say.
Amen.
But there is a representative that's right here in North Carolina. Her name is Representative Yvonne Holley, and she is the Democratic nominee for Lieutenant Governor. And she's running on this platform that focuses on rebuilding North Carolina through affordable living initiatives that will build and bring together everyday citizens, nonprofit organizations, urban and rural environments, and home builders. Like, she just really is a boss chick that is for the people. And not to mention, she's a Howard alum. So, you know, I really do resonate with her because she's had an experience and she has some policies that speak to my life experience and marginalized communities. And I feel like that's super important, that as we're looking at our ballot and as we're voting all the way down the ballot, I cannot stress that enough. All the way. Y'all say it with me. All the way down. Okay? All the way down the ballot. Like, that's so important because a lot of times we just look at the highest offices. And speaking of the highest offices, you know, there's another boss chick who's also a Howard alum. She's also an AKA, and she has been doing this political thing for some time now. And her name is Kamala Harris. And she is currently she's our nominee for the vice president seat here in the United States of America. So she's our Democratic candidate, and she was sworn in as the United States Senator for California, and she's the second African-American woman, the first South Asian American senator in history. And like I said, she's a graduate of Howard University, and she spent her life focused on injustices. And that's something that she resonates with based off of her life experience. And so now that she's running with Joe Biden, you know, it's so amazing to me that so many people have actually been attacking her for some of the things that she has done in her time of leadership. You know, she's been an attorney general. She's also been a senator. So she's occupied some seats. And a couple of people have been clapping back at the fact that now she's in this, this candidate position. And so, y'all shed some light. Share your thoughts real quick on our sister, Kamala Harris.
I mean, one, I'll just say, anytime we have a Democratic candidate, there's always going to be talk. There's always going to be rumors that seemingly come out of nowhere. And I feel like that's what's happening with her race as well. I think what I really appreciate about Kamala is just her fight in the social justice movement. She's from Oakland, California. So she was able to see the civil rights movement in action. She was there on the front lines for all of that. And a lot of the flack that she's getting right now is because she was Attorney General. And the amount of people that were incarcerated during her term, that's what we're sitting with. So we want to know, is she really going to be for us? But I mean, I feel like she is. She's a Howard alum. She's an AKA. I feel like she's one of us. And the media is trying to get us to see her in a different light.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
I'll add really quickly how, speaking to what you just said about how the media, they'll just bring certain things to light. We know that's a norm. When a new candidate runs or anybody runs, we know that there are going to be some negativity or negative things brought to light, especially not only is she Black, but she's a Black woman. Right. And, my only thoughts at this point are, if we want change, we got to start somewhere. And at this point, some change is better than any change. So.
My thoughts are, I could understand some people's skepticism because when she was Attorney General, she refused to, or when she was District Attorney, she refused to prosecute 2 cases of Black men who were shot by police. And I know with the height of what's been happening this year, that's been in the forefront. And I think people really just need to, let that be the past, because right now we don't have time for that. Right. But, let's just keep watching. If she gets in office and she doesn't do what she says she's going to do, then there's coming another election, and we kick her out.
Period. And I really feel like I need you to speak to the fact that it's so important that we are registered to vote now. It's so important that we are paying attention to the dates and to making sure that we're registered, that we know where our polls are. Like, all of those details are really important. So, T. Thomas, I know that you did a lot of work with the Citadel Campus Ministry on A&T's campus to bring awareness to students and to make sure that people were registered to vote. As a matter of fact, my little sister got registered to vote with you, and that was a historic moment, because if you haven't gotten somebody in your family registered to vote, or people that you know registered to vote, then you're slacking. Right. Like, what are you really doing? So we want to make sure that not just ourselves, but everybody that we're connected to, that they're registered to vote. So I know you got some dates and things for us. Sis, let us know what's up.
Well, if you're from the state of North Carolina, the last day for you to register to vote is October 9th. So if you have a NC license or ID, you could go online on the DMV website and just register to vote. But if you don't, you will have to do it in person. So go right now. We know that with COVID, the lines are going to be long. They're always long at the DMV anyways. So make sure you give yourself enough time to go to the polls. We have to go out to the polls. And even if you don't live in North Carolina, just go on your Board of Elections website and find out what your dates are. Because we do need your vote in November. It's not a choice this year.
It's not a choice.
Well, that is it for our Live at 5 today. We're doing things a little bit different and a little bit early, and we hope that you got something from it. We know we enjoyed ourselves and we had a good time, so we really do hope that we hope that you got something from it. So, Citadel family and friends, if you haven't heard, the ministry is doing something big. Big. Period. So we are gearing up to make a major investment to enhance the quality of our visual technology. We are seeking to purchase LED panels that will take our ministry to the next level. We originally needed 40 partners. Now we only need 15 to meet our goal. Can we just pause and celebrate that? We only need 15. And so this is what we need you to do. We need your partnership to pledge $500 to secure one LED panel and help us build the wall. Send your pledges via Cash App, and you can get more information from our website and the graphic that we just showed on the screen. But before I forget, let us take a chance to celebrate our men in the ministry who led this effort. Yes. Thank you, Citadel men. Yes. So, again, like I said, we're finished with Live at 5, but tomorrow we want you to join us for our 3 p.m. worship service. Yes. This is our online version of ministry. We're experiencing virtual victory in this time. Service starts at 3 p.m. We don't want you to come at 3:01, 3:02, 3:03, 3:04, or 3:05. We want you there at 2:50 so you can get the glory beforehand. Okay? Amen. Amen. And so before we wrap up, we do want to say, Queen, say Queen. Queen.